Let's go ahead and start right now. Hi everybody, I'm CyricZ. I've written things. I am on GameFAQs as CyricZ. I have written guides for maybe the last 25 years of my life. Yeah, today we're going to be talking very specifically about Mahjong. So, for everyone who wants to be involved, Mahjong is a fun and enjoyable game. It is also a particularly difficult game to get all the minutia, all the little bits. You kind of have to be, maybe have your hand held through it, maybe watch somebody play it a couple times, get some tips. But that's what we're going to be doing today. Like, we're not looking for any masters of Mahjong coming out of this panel. We are looking to just learn and have fun. We are looking to just get a few extra bits of information that can help us maybe not be completely confused when we play. Also, the main focus of today is less on the physical playing of Mahjong and more on the digital playing of Mahjong. It's where a lot of people get exposed to it for the first time, especially in certain particular mini games for very popular franchises such as Like a Dragon and such as Final Fantasy 14. So these games do have Mahjong mini games, and they, for the most part, just kind of expect you to know what you're doing from the get-go, and usually whatever tips they'll give you, it's usually just like a text dump, and it's like, what are we going to do with that? Well, what we're going to do with that is break things down from the brass tacks and build it back up. So, to start with, Mahjong is a game made of 136 tiles, which is essentially 3 different suits, each numbered 1 through 9. There are also 4 winds and 3 dragons. These are collectively called the honors. And for each of these tiles you see here, except for the red ones, this is the graphic I can find, I apologize for that. There are 4 of every single tile in the game, so that's how it adds up to 136, basically 4 times each tile. So the basic gameplay of Mahjong is not too dissimilar from plenty of draw and discard games out there. The idea is everyone is sitting around a table, 4 players sitting around a table. Each of them starts with 13 tiles, and then each player is assigned to a wind direction based on where they're sitting around the table, which rotates over the course of the rounds. And there is also a cardinal or prevailing wind that governs a set of rounds. This always starts at east, no matter where you are in the game. So the player of the east side draws first and then discards a tile, and then that continues all the way around, just taking tiles, moving around the table as people just try to construct their hand. So this is kind of what it looks like from the top down. This is just a visual representation of one person playing. We'll get back to that picture in a little bit. But basically the entire idea, as you might have seen from that little animation we were looking at earlier, is building a hand. And almost every winning Mahjong hand will have 4 sets and a pair. And the sets can be either triplets or straights, or sometimes people call them runs. The triplets are 3 of the exact same tile, not 3 of the same value, not 3 of different types of the same tile. It has to be the exact same tile. So some people have asked me, hey, I have a white dragon, a green dragon, a red dragon. Does that count as a triplet? No, you have to have all 3 green dragons, all 3 white dragons, or so forth. So just a reminder on that. Straights are 3 numbers in order of the exact same suit. It has to be the same suit, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, just in that order. And obviously you can't be crossing over between the 1 and the 9. So it has to be 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. You cannot have 8, 9, 1, for example. Yeah, there are also quads, but we'll get to that a little bit later. As we said, a pair, it all has to be in every Mahjong hand. At least 1 pair has to be in every single Mahjong hand. It's 2 of the same tile, pretty simple for the most part. So here is a sample hand. Since I didn't want to do everything Yakuza, I pulled a little bit from Final Fantasy 14 and got this nice little hand from the Domon Mahjong game there. So you can see there's a 2 straights, a 2, 3, 4, a 4, 5, 6 of the other suit. And then you have the 2 triplets there, 3 of the 3s, and 3 red dragons, and then the 1 pair at the end, which is the north wind. All right, so you are drawing and discarding, and you're trying to figure out the best way to build a hand. So generally what you want to do is try to group things together. Try to group your pairs together, group your triplets together, group your runs together to make sure you can see what the best way to proceed towards a full hand best way to make that. So it's easier to make straights than triplets. It's just a general rule, because making triplets requires pulling from a set of 4, or making straights you pulling from a set of as many as 8. So it's generally a good idea to, if you're starting up, try to look for straights first. Having 2 tiles in sequence means the third can come from either direction, like I said earlier. Watch discards when deciding whether to keep a tile. So it's a very simple thing to do, to stare at your own hands, just try to spin the wheels in your head and try to make sure you can make a hand out of what's in front of you, but you do have to be watching for what other people are putting down. Because sometimes when people put down tiles, you think, oh wait, maybe I needed that, and unfortunately that tile is discarded, and if it's discarded well back in the hand, then there's nothing you can do about it. For example, taking a look at this picture we looked at earlier, you can see a possibility for, there on the far right side of the screenshot there is a couple of 8s. So is there a possibility for going for a third 8? Well, it might be difficult, because that 8 up there that somebody else has discarded means there's only one 8 of dots left to go in the entire hand, which would make it that much more difficult. But there are more options in this hand here. You don't necessarily have to go for triple of 8s, because you can see there are 7s right to the left there. So a 7, 8, 9 or a 6, 7, 8 is also possible. Okay, so with that in mind, drawing and discarding, trying to make a hand, trying to put things together in straights and in triplets. Now, one thing people tend to come across a lot, especially when they're just kind of trying to feel their way through a digital mahjong for the first time, is the game will tend to prompt you if you want to call pawn, if you want to call chi, if you want to call con. This is known as, I generally call it stealing, some people call it call, some people call it melding, but it's basically the idea of the very most previous tile that was discarded, someone could call out and take that opponent's discard, adding it to their hand, and then discarding afterwards. So, for example, one of the discards is, one of the stealing is called pawn, which is the idea of stealing a tile to make a triplet. Remember, you must always steal in order to make a full set. You cannot just steal whatever tile you want. It has to be with a purpose. It has to be to make a complete set. So, a pawn is stealing, if you have a pair of a tile, and you see the third one discarded, the moment that's discarded, you can call pawn and take that tile and add it to your and make a triplet. And then you'll be setting that triplet aside. So that can be taken from any other player. The other kind is chi, which is stealing a tile to make a straight. This can only be taken from the player to your left. I'm assuming that's just for fairness' sake, and to make sure things don't get too crazy for stealing calls, but you can only steal from the person to your left, who is the person that goes just before you when the turn comes to you next. So again, you can only steal if you're making something complete that you will then set aside. Con is a little more complicated. Just to say it for right now, make it as simple as possible. It's stealing to make a quad of 4 of the same tile. So since that quad kind of messes up your hand, it gives you like an extra tile in a set, what you have to do is draw an additional tile, so technically your hand will have 14 tiles. That is just to make sure you can still make 4 sets in a pair. And there are a few other things that come when a con happens too. You have to flip a door indicator on the dead wall. We'll get to door in a bit. And actually, con can even be declared even if you don't steal. This was something that's called a closed con. If you have and are dealt 4 of the same tile, you can call that and set it aside on your own to get the benefit of flipping door indicators. That's a different strategy, not something I'd worry about too much if you're just starting out, but I felt I should mention it because it does sometimes come up when people see it in the game. So, one of the biggest warnings about stealing is that it makes what is called an open hand. Now, what is an open hand? Well, when we get to talking about scoring and making a winning hand, knowing whether your hand is open or closed is going to be vital. Because one of the main trip-ups I see when people are learning Mahjong is they will play games, steal a whole bunch of stuff, and then are like, well, why can't I win? And unfortunately, there are certain rules that come when it comes to winning a hand and whether your hand is closed or open. And that's when we get to talking about what the actual heck is a yaku. And the best way to describe it is a yaku is basically a scoring element. In addition to having that complete hand of 4 sets in a pair, your hand must at least satisfy 1 yaku for you to be able to win the round. You have to have a certain type of scoring element in order to win, Now, they can be kind of loose if you have a completely closed hand, but if your hand is open, your options are a lot more restricted. In a basic sense, the more Yaku you have, the higher score you can get once you win, so more Yaku is more points. Each Yaku represents a certain number of what are called Han, which are basically points for the scoring element that translates to how many points you're going to win. A little complicated there, I'm not really going to talk too much about that. The point is that some Yaku are worth fewer if your hand is open, and some are invalid if your hand is open. There are many types of hands that cannot be won with unless you have a completely closed hand. So that is where we go back to stealing, and the idea that stealing may not always be in your best interest, especially if you're just starting out. And there are a lot of Yaku, a lot of scoring elements, really more than I care to list here. There's also a second scoring element outside of Han called Fu. Ignore that, we're not going to talk about that. You can learn more about that by playing live. One tip I would give for anyone playing the Like a Dragon series, turn off 2 Han minimum. That's usually done to try to keep people from winning too quickly, but for people who are trying to get in newly, it's usually a good idea to have at least 1 Han available so you can get some quick wins and start learning how to build hands. Okay, so now that we talked about Yaku, let's actually talk about a few. The easiest Yaku to go for, and this isn't all the easiest Yaku to go for, I just picked about 5 or 6 here that I figured would be handy to have. One is called Riichi, which already is a little bit more complicated than we like. It's going to discuss on the next page. One of the simpler ones, and that's in the name, is All Simples, or Tanya. And All Simples is essentially a hand where every tile in your hand, the 4 sets in the pair, all over of a suit, so that means there are no honors, no wins, no dragons, and it consists of the numbers 2 through 8. So no 1s, no 9s, no wins, no dragons, just 2 through 8s. That is an All Simples hand, and that can be usually won with an open hand as well. Usually your Mahjong games will have an option called Kuitan. If you turn it on, then you can use that on an open hand. If you turn it off, you can't. That is usually something that's on by default. Another type that's pretty easy to get for the most part is a dragon triplet. A triplet of at least 1 of the dragon tiles. It can be used on an open hand. It's a pretty small, pretty cheap win. A lot of people use it to they're concerned about somebody else about to go out. A dragon triplet is a nice, cheap, usually a 1 Han win that will get the hand done and get another one started. Another type is the wind triplet. Now that's not necessarily every possible wind that's available to you. The triplet of the wind has to match either your seat wind or the cardinal wind. Remember we talked way back at the beginning that every person is sitting in a different part of the table, and each part of the table is labeled for a wind. And there is also a prevailing wind for the set of rounds, and that starts with east. This can also be used on an open hand. So typically what happens in a lot of games early on is people are scrambling for 3 east winds, because that'll be an easy wind triplet that'll get you a valid hand. Or at least it's a valid Yaku. So, we're talking about gathering tiles, we're talking about arranging them, we're talking about avoiding stealing if we can, unless we're doing it for a real purpose. But let's talk about actually completing the hand and going out. So when you are a state where you need 1 more tile to win, 1 specific tile that is typically known as tenpai, and that basically means that you are 1 away from a winning hand. But the only important thing to stress about that is you can be in tenpai and still not be able to actually go out once you get that winning tile if it's not a Yaku. So you still need that Yaku before you can actually go out. And one note too, if the round ends and nobody wins, you will get a few smattering of points if you ended the round in tenpai, so that can be helpful as well. But Riichi is the option to declare when you are 1 away from a winning hand and your hand is completely closed. So what that'll be doing is you will basically place a wager of 1,000 points on the table. Then your hand will be locked for the remainder of the round until you can claim a winning tile. So in the Like a Dragon series, usually you have to actually press a button to bring up the option to do Riichi. So what I typically recommend to people is if they're playing on a Like a Dragon game is to tap the Riichi button every once in a while to see if they are in fact one away from being able to go out. It's just a good thing to check. I will say though, the one that just came out last year, Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, actually has now changed it, so now they will prompt you when you're viable for Riichi, so they can do that. So it's a very fascinating scene when going for Riichi, just to actually slam the tile down, and the music usually kicks in, things get exciting, and then hopefully at some point you actually get the tile you're looking for, and you are allowed to complete your hand and go out. Now, how you go out is different depending on whether you're taking the tile from somebody else or whether you drew the tile yourself. If you're taking the tile from someone else, that is a move called Ron, and that is basically a steal in a way to basically complete your hand. And that means you take every points from the person that you took the tile from. Sumo is drawing the tile that wins your hand. Now, one thing I will state is that if you're concerned about Yaku, a Sumo on a closed hand is always a one-han Yaku. So no matter how pretty your hand looks, as long as it has 4 sets in a pair, and you draw that last tile, and you didn't steal anything, that is a valid one-han Yaku to go out on. So at that point, the winner is then awarded their points. If it's a Sumo, it's points taken from everybody with a certain spread. If it's Uran, again, it's taken from the person you stole the tile from. And at that point, things go on to the next round. And let me tell you, the first time you get a natural Sumo yourself and you feel like you're starting to actually get this game is a really valid feeling. So I wish you all wonderful Sumos in your future as we go forward on that. So we're not quite done yet, though. I do want to discuss a couple other things, so this is going to come up. It might be something that is curious to people who are like, well, what is Dora? I keep seeing Dora pop up when people win hands. What is that? So this is literally bonus. No matter how much Dora in your hand, none of it counts as a Yaku. Dora is simply tallied after you win your hand with a valid Yaku. Some people are like, well, I have a Dora tile, why can't I go out? And it's because Dora does not count as Yaku. So, Dora is established by what is called a Dora indicator. So, usually when you play these games, you will see a small line of tiles and one of them's flipped over. That flipped over tile is the Dora indicator, and that indicates what is Dora in the hand. And the way it indicates that is the next tile after that tile is what is actually Dora. So, if the indicator is a number, then it's the next number up. And if it's a 9, then the next number is a 1. So that is what indicates what is bonus. If the indicator is a wind, it's a next wind clockwise, northeast, southwest, and so forth. And if the indicator is a dragon, it's the next dragon in I usually use the alphabetical mnemonic sequence, green, red, white, are all alphabetical order, and that's the order. So if it's a green dragon, then the red dragon is Dora. I mean, this will all make sense once you guys actually get into the game and start playing it for a bit, and I'll demonstrate later, so we can kind of talk about it as we go through it. Right, any tiles in a winning hand that are Dora are worth added for 1 Han after you win the hand with at least 1 Yaku. So, looking at an example hand here, we're back to that sample hand as before. You'll see in some Mahjong games that they'll actually highlight the Dora tiles in your hand. So for this one, this is pulled from Clubhouse Games. The Dora indicator is in the upper left. That is a 1 of dots, which means that the 2 of dots is what is Dora for this hand. And Clubhouse Games helpfully makes it slightly yellow to make sure you can understand which one's Dora and which one's not. And there are also options for turning on red tiles. Red tiles themselves are also Dora. They're all 5s, but there'll be 4 in a set when you turn red tiles on. All right, a couple more notes about Dora just to kind of speed through this a little bit. There are a couple of other types of Dora. Uda Dora, also known as Under Dora, is basically applied if a player declares Riichi and wins. The tile beneath the Dora indicator is also a Dora indicator, so going back to this from before, this stack over here on the left, those 5 tiles are actually 10 tiles because of the stack, there's a line of 5 tiles underneath. If someone wins with a Riichi, that top tile is an indicator and also the one directly beneath it. And there's also Con Dora. So if a Con has been declared, someone has drawn a quad, I mentioned this earlier, a second Dora indicator is flipped on the wall. So that second Dora indicator is also an indicator for another Dora tile. It just adds on to extra bonus. And again, if someone gets a Riichi, then all of the Dora tiles, flip tiles, will become Dora as well. So that can really rack up if you get lucky with a good hand on that. As I mentioned before, red Dora can also be turned on if they are using red 5 tiles. I suggest you turn this on just to kind of help you get a little bit nicer hands that can be helpful. All right, and one last real thing for reminding people when they're playing digital mahjong, so beware a situation called Furiten. This can trip up people. I see it all the time when I'm looking at people posting on Reddit or Discord and saying, hey, what's wrong with this hand? It looks fine, I have a Yaku, it looks okay. The problem is, if you end up in a state where you cannot win because someone else has discarded a tile, but you're not allowed to take it. That can happen. The most common way to enter Furiten is to have a tile in your discards that is also the same as the tile you need to win. So, a less common way is to be in Riichi and refuse a run given the option. I actually have a video on YouTube demonstrating Mahjong, and I actually did this and didn't notice that I did this, and a lot of people called me out on it, so I will follow my sword on that one. But just to kind of visualize Furiten. So here's a hand I found online. Some games will actually helpfully mark that your hand isn't Furiten. You can see it on the left side there. But this hand basically needs a 6 of sticks or a 9 of sticks to win. Now the problem is, if you can look up in the discards there, you can see this player has thrown out a 9 of sticks. That means their hand is in Furiten. They cannot win on a 6 or 9 if somebody else drops it in their discards. They have to draw that. So interestingly enough, there is a way to get out of Furiten, and basically you just have to reorganize your hand so that a discard is no longer something you need to win. So with the magic of Photoshop, I was able to slide a few tiles around here. Say, for example, this person drew another 8 of sticks and got rid of the 4. So now they have the 3 triplet of 2s, they have the 4, 5, and 6, they have the 3 dots over on the right, and now they have 2 7s and 2 8s. A 9 is no longer something they need to win. They need a 7 or they need an 8. So that is now a valid hand that is no longer in Furiten. I got that right?
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, I was looking at that, I'm like, I got this right? Yeah, I just slid a few tiles over. Again, sometimes you just gotta get lucky with the draws. But yeah, Furiten is a way to get, there's a way to get into Furiten and there's a way to get out of it. You know, generally you just wanna watch your own discards, watch what you're going for, and make sure it's not in a case where you need something you've already thrown out. All right, and then there's one last little thing, talking about a couple of special hands. 7 pairs is a special hand that can pop up. 7 pairs is basically, literally that, 7 pairs of the same tile. Not too hard to get, but you can't steal pairs. You can only steal triplets or straights, so it can be a little hard to actually set up. I suggest usually not going for 7 pairs until you have like at least 5 or 4 before you decide to do that. And the other special hand is called 13 Orphans. This is a very difficult hand to get. Requires 1 each of all of these 7 honors and all 6 of the terminals from the suited tiles. That's 1s and 9s of each of the 3 suits. 7 honors, 6 terminals, and then you have to have a 14 tile that basically pairs up with one of them. I think, what was it, last year I tried to do this? I was getting actually pretty close to a 13 Orphans. I think I had like 9 or 10, and then we blew it. But I think somebody else went out. That's what was the problem. So yeah. And then just really quickly on this, after you win a hand, basically wins rotate, except in certain circumstances. I'm not going to hang too much on this. The presentation is long enough as it is, but basically wins rotate, you take new dealers, new turns around under certain circumstances. But one thing I do want to stress too is that Mahjong is a tough game, and you can have a really good hand going and someone just decides they're going to drop a massive win on you, and you just have to deal with that. That is just part of life, and you just have to shake it off and move on to the next hand. By the way, this manga panel is sourced from a manga called Reform with No Wasted Draws, also known as The Legend of Koizumi. This is a manga that was made, when did it start, like 20 years ago, something around there, and maybe like almost 25. But the idea was basically a manga where diplomatic relations are solved by Mahjong games. And this manga has Prime Minister Koizumi in it as well, actual Prime Minister Koizumi. I mean, obviously he's stylized, but also has George Bush, George Bush Jr., Pol Pot, Mao Zedong, Aryan Hitler shows up in there. There's a lot of, I think Obama ends up showing up at some point too. And I know Donald Trump shows up too. But the point is that this is just a very, very goofy manga, but it's also a Mahjong manga as well. It's a hoot. All right, now, last few slides. I promise we'll go a little quicker on this one, but I do want to make sure people understand, hey, where do I go from here? If you want a nice free online Mahjong game to play without having to invest in Final Fantasy 14 or Like a Dragon game, we have Mahjong Soul. It's free online. If you're okay with playing with cute cat girl avatars, you can play Mahjong with CPUs and other people online. Very cool. Or you can even find your local scene. The NARiichi.org is where you can look up the American Riichi Association, where you can find local groups throughout the country. They have guidance for clubs hosting tournaments. They offer support and resources for clubs starting up. And they even manage the player selection for the World Riichi Championships. Interesting site to check out if you're looking to see what's going on in your hometown. Oh, also, DC Riichi Mahjong, that club for DC, is here at MAGFest. They're right over in Tabletop, except not at the moment because they're actually sitting right here in front of me. But no, this group is for helping people learn for the physical Mahjong game. They use a slightly different teaching method. You know, I'm just going through a whole bunch of slides. We're not really playing games. These guys will walk you through games from small scale up to large scale. It's not something you can do in a digital sense. But if you want to learn a physical way of playing Mahjong, this method is really good. I copied their method and started teaching my family, and my niece is now obsessed. So, success story. That was very nice. But yeah, stop by over there in Tabletop, live play, coaching, good times. Also going to plug their open tournament in March this year over at the Alexandria Old Town. But yeah, check that out if you're in the area in late March. It is an open tournament, has 152 player seats available. And I talked about this before the panel, but this is also at MAGFest. In the arcade section is Mahjong Fight Club Extreme. This is not for novices. This is, for one thing, entirely in Japanese. It's also incredibly fast-paced. You have 5 seconds to make every single move. But if you're looking to test yourself, stop by, check it out. It's a touchscreen game. It's a little finicky, but it works. I was able to win off it. That's how I know it works. But yeah, it's a really intense way to play Mahjong. Okay, questions before we go on? Because we're going to do some demonstration, a couple of hands. And then after that, I'm going to open up Game Share, and people who want to play against me, we can do a round together. So, any questions or thoughts? Question?
Yeah, so is this typically like a gambling game where money is bet, or no?
Yes. In short story, it very much is very tied to gambling. You don't have to gamble. You can play for fun. You can just play around with your friends and no stakes at all. But this is game that's kind of pretty tied to gambling in a way.
It has a history of it, but recently, especially globally, the gambling aspect has been really trying to be died down a bit.
Right. Will you really find it in Vegas? I don't know if they have it in Vegas. They probably have everything in Vegas.
Probably not Riichi, but I think you can, if you know the right people, you can do training. If you gotta know the right people.
You gotta know the right people, but yeah. And there's a history of it. But yeah, like he says, it's meant to be more of a, they're trying to clean it up a little bit in modern tournament play and locals and that kind of thing. They're trying to keep it on the level as much as they can. So another question back there? Sorry, there, yeah.
So about the gambling aspect, when you're gamifying it, do you play several hands in a round, or is each hand its own game set in a type of way?
So it's played in a series of rounds. It's typically 4 per going around at east wind, and there's also, you can extend it to going around in a south wind as well, up to 8 rounds, well, a minimum 8 rounds. It's complicated because as winds rotate under certain circumstances, sometimes they don't. I kind of skipped over that slide, but there is a set amount of rounds to play in the game. And everyone has points to begin with. Those points add or subtract. A game will immediately end if somebody has 0 points, and whoever has the most points ends up winning that game. So it's very point-based to that point. Kitty in the back, you had sorry, maybe you didn't have a question. I'm sorry, I saw your hand go up. All right, so with that in mind, I think we're going to take some time and do a couple of hands on Clubhouse games. So, and I'm going to grab another. This one's on this side. Then you grab my controller. I set my controller over there so I wouldn't forget it. I'm going to keep you pull this for a second.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. Source. Up. In. All right. No, I shouldn't be walking around too much. No, I just want to stay here for the most part. All right, so I got a set game set up over here, and I'm just gonna jump in. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be really great because we don't have mic stands over here. Yep, from scratch. So this is Clubhouse Games on the Nintendo Switch, available now on Switch, and it does have a Switch 2 upgrade, so that's kind of cool. So oh shit. Let's start with the hand we got here, which is not great, not the worst hand I've ever had, but I think I'll focus on trying to discard winds. So you'll see up in the top across the way, the east wind has already been discarded, so I probably won't be able to effectively use that. I'm going to get rid of the east wind. Sometimes getting rid of tiles is a matter of what just won't help me at all. That could be. Also, I like to generally do the idea of like if it's too far away from other tiles, like for example, this 2 here is so far away from the 5, 7, and 9, I'm worried that won't be of any help at all. I mean, it might be, but I'm just gonna guess on that one. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of the 9 here. Unfortunately, the 9 is Dora. You can see in the upper left corner, the 8 is a Dora indicator, so the 9 is actually Dora. I'm gonna get rid of it anyway. I don't feel like playing with terminals today. Okay, so it's giving me the option to steal for a chi. So what it would do is set aside a 7, 8, and I would steal that 9. I am not going to do that. Stealing for a chi is kind of something you probably shouldn't do unless you have a really specific way of playing for it, so I'm going to avoid that for right now. Okay, I'm going to keep that 7, I think. And I'm just going to get rid of this 2, 4. Oh, see, there you go. That was a good idea. So I kept the 7s, and now I have a pair of 7s and a 4, 5, and a 6. So I got a pair sitting right there, ready to go. So I'm going to get rid of this 4 now. Yeah, it's going pretty well okay so far. Okay, so lucked out. That 6 I got, so now I have a 6, 7, 8 of sticks, and a 7, 8, 9 of sticks, 4, 5, 6 of dots, a pair of 7 dots, and over here I have 3 other tiles. So the 7 and 8 are next to each other, so what I'm going to do is call Riichi and get rid of that 5. It says what I need is a 6 or a 9. Now looking at what's been discarded so far, nobody's discarded a 6 or a 9 yet, so there are 8 of them still out there. And now my hand is locked, and I can just let it go. So we'll see if a 6 or a 9 pops up. Somebody else want Riichi? And sometimes you can sit in Riichi for the entire rest of the hand. It happens. It could be a really good situation, and they just won't throw it down. Look at that, 8s, 2s. Oh. 3. Yep, 3. Another 3. Another 3. Yeah. So yeah, the worry about dropping 5s late in the hand is real because a lot of people tend to be looking for 5s for their last tile. And so much for that hand. So I didn't go out, but I remained in 10 pi. So the fact that it was a draw will mean that basically a small amount of points will be going to me from the other players. Also the south player was in 10 pi as well, so basically we split between the 2. Also want to point out that the Riichi I threw down, it's still in the middle there. No one has claimed it yet. You can't claim it without a winning hand. That's just a little bit of extra knowledge there. Okay, let's get rid of that 2. That 2's going to be funny. All right, maybe I'll keep that 3. Okay, White Dragon can go. Somebody already dropped a White Dragon. Green Dragon can go. I don't really like that 1, but... Nah. Nope. So by the way, you can see next to the 25,500 on the middle there, I am in the east side right now. So if I was looking for any wins, it would be the east one right now. No, I didn't want to conceal that. Well, now that's my pair, or I'm gonna have to find something else to work with it. Let's see here, that's a chi, I don't think I need that. No. Could have gone for it, but could have tried to make a 1, 2, 3 out of it. It's a little tough though. All right, I'm gonna get rid of that 1 here. 6s are still up somewhere. Pass. Okay. Nothing. Still, I'm not going to do that. Do I want to? I'll get rid of the 5. I'll get rid of the 5. Okay, pretty good. I'll pass on that because I already have the 4, 5, 6. Pass on the 3. So now would be, well, now I can do it, but I will say it's a little late in the hand to declare Riichi. But heck it, I'm going for it. Oops, there we go.
Riichi.
Just need a 6 or a 9. Of course, the 9s are all gone already. There goes a 7. Well, there you go. That's not last. It should be 0 for last.
One away from high day.
Yeah, so what do I got? I got a 4, 5, and a 6. I got a triple of 3s, 7, 8, and the 9 I just drew is on the right. A pair of 1s, a 5, a 6, and a 7 of dots. That is a complete hand when I call Riichi, so I drew it. So it has a closed sumo. And also the Dora is the 5. So because you can see the Dora indicator over there on the right is the 4 of dots. So the 5 was Dora, and I got another few points off of that. So that's a couple of hands. What do we got for time? I don't even know what time it is right now.
It's 10:35.
Oh, that should be enough time for us all to play a game. Anyone interested in playing? Okay. You guys brought switches? But that's how we're gonna do it. Yeah, for those of you who have switches, well, the good news is, through the magic of Nintendo Switch 2, I can actually put up Game Share. You don't need the game to play. Just go to your Switch home menu and select Game Share and look for lobbies. Used to be you had to have a Switch with at least like the game or a demo of the game. Not so much anymore. Yeah, so you guys have to do it from the home page. I'm going from inside the game, but now I'm casting to see if anyone's going to hop in here. Yeah, just tap your Game Share button on your Nintendo Switch, and then search for lobbies, and I should pop up, I hope. Oh, I should also add, if you're going to play, there are prizes on the line.
Yeah, that's kind of incentive right there.
I was going to say, prizes. We got 1. Anyone with a Switch? I mean, we'll give it a couple more minutes, and if it's just going to be 2, then we'll do 2. It's fine. Is anyone trying to go for it, hasn't had it yet? I mean, you know, raise your hand if you're trying to get in right now and haven't got in yet. Because if you're not, then we'll just go ahead and do 2 players, and that's fine. Okay, 2 players it is. Sorry, just jump back in. I'm going to switch it over to 2 players. And then you'll just get all the prizes. Because I'm not giving myself prizes. I bought it for you guys. Tell you what, you get the top prize and we'll distribute the rest of the lesser prizes.
Riichi Mahjong.
Let's get that. East only.
When you do east only, is it 1 round?
It is a minimum of 4 times a round. A minimum of 4 hands.
The minimum.
A minimum of 4 hands. Well, there are weird rules to it too, because if the dealer wins, then the wins don't rotate. If the ends in a draw and the dealer is at 10 high, the wins don't rotate. So a first East only round could go for potentially 9, 10, 11 hands, depending. Doesn't always. Sorry, it's my turn. My apologies.
It also ends if you bankrupt them, right?
Yes, the whole game ends if someone gets bankrupted, that's true.
So now you have an open hand.
I have an open hand, but it is still a valid hand to win off of because it is a kaze high. This is gonna get ugly for somebody.
I mean, don't you technically have a very open hand since you more or less can see your hand?
Yes, I have an extremely open hand right now. This is my handicap. If I could win with this handicap, I don't want to. I'm not gonna make judgments. But yeah, if I win, this hand is gonna sting. Because the 9 of characters is a Dora right now, and that's 3 Dora on top of it.
Is it 3 Dora because 8 is correctly Dora?
So yes, the 8 of characters up there at the top left is the Dora indicator. So every instance of a 9 of characters is its own Dora.
T.
Sure.
Riichi. Wrong.
Yeah.
It's always the bots.
It's always the bots. That's why it's better to play with humans. You can't just randomly accuse humans of cheating.
Yeah, completion sucks.
Input reading. So that is a solid Mondan for Sada. Sorry I didn't go over it, my bad. But yeah, it's getting pretty hard. Whoops, I am not gonna steal that. Because that will not be a kaze high. I would either be east or north.
So Kaze High is wind high?
So a kaze high is a wind triplet that matches either your seat wind, which is north in my case, or the cardinal wind, which is east. So the south wind would not do me any good right now. In fact, I'm getting rid of south wind because 2 of the others have already been dropped. Just completely no south wind right now. That can just sit down on the table. I could have kept it for a pair conceivably, but I just didn't feel like it. The white dragon. White dragons are already on the table. Okay, let's get rid of the 2s.
Riichi.
Another Riichi. So interestingly enough, that dude just dropped the 5 of sticks. Since I already have 3 of them, I can either take it as a pawn, I could take it as a con, or just not at all, and I'm just gonna skip it. Yeah, don't need the north anymore. Be honest, probably get rid of the green dragon too. Ooh, complex. So interesting thing about this setup here is technically, I could say I have a pair of 5s and a 4, 5, 6, that'd be valid. Just throwing that out there. Always keep an eye on your tiles. Look for unique ways you can arrange them. Just because they're in a particular order doesn't mean they're assigned to that order next to each other. No, thank you. Let's see. I like this one better because this is more spread, even though it's not going to be as many tiles. Yeah,
Riichi.
let's do that. Not many options there, but it would have technically been better to go for the 7, but that's all right.
Wrong.
Got him. I got the bot, so we can all celebrate. So what have I got here? Oh my goodness. So I called the Riichi. Apart from the Riichi hand, there wasn't much else except for the fact that I had 5 Dora. So all of the 9s were Dora. I had a red 5, and that 2 ended up Dora because of my Riichi. I flipped over a 1. as the Uradora. So, you know, this game calls it a 1.5 Mangan. It's also known as a Hanemon. If that shows up, just a trivia there.
Wait, what? That's a 1.5 manga?
Yeah, it's weird terminology. You never heard of that, huh?
No, I know.
Only in this game.
That's all
Only in
that.
this game will I see it called
Well,
that.
actually,
That's
no.
crazy.
No, I can definitely see that because
Yeah.
the next tier would be
Paimon.
Paimon. I can definitely maybe see it.
No,
And-
that's fake.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
it's also points too, because 8,000 points for a Mangan, 12,000 for a Hanemon.
technically correct, but it's wrong.
Yeah, it's right, but it's wrong.
It feels dirty, is what it is.
Yes. Feels slimy. Red Dragon was already thrown down, so I'll get rid of the Red Dragon. Also, an East Wind has already been thrown down. Also, I am in, don't tell them, but I'm in West right now. Oh, we'll have some fun. Let's see what we can do with this. You know what I'm going for.
You're making choices.
Riichi.
Yeah, that box impressive.
Fine.
Riichi.
I'm sick in the head. I'm really sick in the head.
You are actually sick in the head.
Told you we're having fun here.
Oh,
It doesn't matter.
Sumo.
No, Sumo wouldn't matter with Sumo. Can't blame me for putting down the wrong tile for him to steal. So he just had a straight up Riichi and a closed Sumo. Nothing fancy, nothing special. Just drew the last tile himself, no door for him. Alright, so we are technically in East 4 right now, which means this could be the last hand. Unless that person to the to my left there, CPU 2, unless they go out, because then they'll get a streak. Yeah. Don't make noises at me. Don't judge. How close I am to a 7 pairs? Not too far off. Nothing. Ooh.
How about that?
Yeah, nothing's interesting. I know, right? What are you gonna do with that? None of the other.
Pawn.
There it is. Now you got it in handy.
Ugh, calm.
It definitely had a strategy in mind.
Riichi.
Ooh.
Take it.
Ah.
I'm right, exactly. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this.
Yeah. We're reaching there.
They're
That,
all-
You know what?
Yeah.
Pawn.
Yeah. Because they're still out there. They're still out there. I was hoping for something a little more fancy, but if I can shut this down, I'll shut it down.
Yeah, Dora's super fancy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, as I mentioned prior, all simples is what I'm going for here right now, just so you know. And that is available on an open hand in this game.
So right now you need 6 characters?
Don't say it too loud, but yeah. Yeah. Well, he could be looking away and be respectful, or not. I don't know.
Just turn your back to the
Just turn your back to the screen.
Wrong.
Oh. Well, guess what? We're playing another hand.
Every time.
I'm definitely not in the lead anymore, aren't I?
Dealer Manga.
Yeah, definitely not in the lead anymore.
Just get a direct hit on West.
Wait, isn't he? Oh, he's not in the lead. He's in
No, he's
second.
not.
He's in second.
Just
So he
get-
can still go for it.
Just get a direct hit manga on
I mean, I can. Well, I got like how many orphans here? You know?
No, don't fall.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Is that what you're saying? Orphan falls.
Orphan.
There's more orphans. What do you want from me? Look at that.
Alright, for the bit.
Who's gonna stop me? No one's gonna stop
For the bed.
For the
For
bed.
the bit.
Nah, go for 9.
Oh no, West. Now I'm already.
9, 8, let's go.
They can't stop me. I have never legitimately got 13 orphans in my life. So. What do you mean? Don't make faces at me. I know what I'm doing right now. It's a horrible idea, but I'm doing it because if it's gonna keep dropping in my hand, then I will keep going. They're not gonna arrest me for Mahjong crimes. They are not gonna arrest me for Mahjong crimes if I can deliver results.
There's no way.
There's absolutely no.
There's almost going to be no way.
no way.
Unless.
You know, live at MAGFest. What better time?
That is no shot.
What better time than here at MAGFest?
Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, well, here's.
Oh,
No.
there's no way.
What better time? What better place than here?
I mean, MAGFest is an attractor of Yakuza.
Oh, there was a 9.
Oh, you only have 1 9.
I already have a pair, so I don't need to keep that ace. Yeah, I only have the 1 9, so I need a 1 and a 9 of characters and a 9 of sticks.
Well, the 9 of characters, there's only 1 left.
Well, okay.
Don't worry about it.
No, don't
worry about it. Don't worry about it.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There is a chance. There's always a chance.
Believe in the heart of the car.
Exactly, the tiles.
Are
But yeah.
Are the tiles?
So I don't need that. Yeah.
My grandfather's house.
Well, okay, that's over. But at least it didn't take it from me.
Bought on violence. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, also known Pinfo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's Pinfo. They just didn't call it Pinfo in this game, but All Runs is its own individual. It's a little more complicated than All Runs, but yeah, there's a Yaku for that. Let's say so. So he goes again because he didn't pass.
No, he did.
Oh, he did. He just wants to keep going because he just likes harming us. All right. Well, now we'll go for a little.
The bot just wants blood.
The bot just wants to keep going.
The bot just wants to see a dead body.
Yeah. Just a corpse.
Just a corpse.
Corpse on the Mahjong table. What was the manga where basically the entire manga was a game of Mahjong for actual life stakes? I forget the name of it.
Kagi.
Sir?
I think it's a Kagi. Kagi or Kaiji?
It's not Kaiji. I think it's a Kagi.
Yeah.
It's by the same author. So.
Yes, that's how you mix it up because they look exactly the same.
Yeah.
That is his art style, so
Yep.
can't blame him on that one.
We do have a set of the clear tiles here.
Oh, you do? Set of
from
clear
that
tiles?
Yeah.
Over the sword.
Yeah, it's the same set that they use in the Kagi storyline.
Oh, cool. Did we bring a gun too? Or? No, we didn't. Okay, just making sure.
No gun,
No violence.
no needles, no nothing.
Needles. That's what it was.
Simple. Cool. Mind
Riichi.
games. Gotcha.
5 to.
Oh,
Or 5
so
to 11.
5 to 11. So yeah, we're almost done. Yeah, I got 5 minutes left. Just no one came in and yelled at me. We'll make this the last one under any circumstance.
Yeah, you're
Clearly.
Everyone was fine. No one
Yeah.
was not.
No, you're dead either way.
Nope, yep, I was, you're right. There it goes. All right, well, fantastic though. For the person with the cojones to step up, you do get a present for that. So please come on up to the stage. You get a copy of Annalise Heinz's Mahjong, a Chinese game and the making of modern American culture. Annalise Heinz is a professor at University of Oregon in immigration, gender studies, sexuality studies. So this is her perspective on the spread of Mahjong, mostly among non-Asian cultures, but it's her own personal perspective on that and her research on that. So it's a nice little thing. And since I got a whole bunch of other stuff, who wants a genuine set of Majima construction tissues? There we go.
I did get it.
Handing it to the guy who owns the company.
A couple other things here. This was for the third prize winner, but from Anime Zaka in Boston on Wilson Street, pulled directly from their gachas. Come on up. We have some lovely Mahjong tile toys coming from the gacha ones. So please draw one, and folks can come up if you want. There's got 3 more in there.
One
So
thing from the back.
I would ask you to just have one so we can spread it out. Go there. Go on there. Yeah, go for it. One left. Who wants it? There you go, guys. All right, so yeah, that's what I got for you all. Are there any other questions before we close? One more question.
Yeah, are you going to be at the photo shoot?
I'm running it,
You're running it?
so I better. Yeah, I'll be there. So yeah, tonight, 10 p.m., Yakuza Like a Dragon photo shoot at the Fountain. It's gonna be a great time. Please, question? Question, you raise your hand? Sorry? No, dreads.
What were the Mahjong games you recommend?
Mahjong Soul, if you're looking for a nice, free, quick online game, just look that up. Very, what's up?
Riichi City.
Riichi City, apparently. How old is that one? I haven't seen that one yet.
It's newer.
It's still newer?
A couple of years.
A couple years old. Mahjong Soul's been around for a few years now, but Riichi City is being recommended out here as well. So you guys want to check those out. Free games. You don't have to make an investment. So, Kiri, I'm back.
Riichi City uses the Japanese terminology for him, and
Sure.
Mahjong Soul uses the English terminology, so there's a
Whatever.
I think if you think someone might look over your shoulder, play Mahjong Soul probably.
Play Mahjong Soul probably if you think someone's going to look over your shoulder. So that's a recommendation in one direction there. Okay. If that is all, I've been CyricZ. Thank you guys for coming out. Always great to do this at MAGFest. Thank you all for coming. Please enjoy the rest of your MAGFest. Have a good weekend.